When foreign ships reached African shores, they came first to trade, but history would change forever.
For thousands of years, Africans traded with neighboring regions across the Sahara Desert, the Red Sea,
and the Indian Ocean. Then, during the 15th century, European ships began sailing farther down Africa's.
A new chapter in world history was beginning. Portuguese caravels sailing along the West African coast, navigators studying maps, African coastal villages. In the early 1400s, the Kingdom of Portugal invested in long, distant sea voyages. Its explorers sought new trade routes, access to valuable goods such as gold and spices, and opportunities to expand commerce. As they reached the West African coast, they encountered established kingdoms, with their own rulers, merchants, and trading networks. African rulers meeting Portuguese merchants, exchanges of gifts, bustling coastal markets. The earliest encounters were largely commercial and diplomatic. European merchants exchanged textiles, metal goods, horses, and other products for African commodities, including gold, ivory, and pepper. African leaders negotiated these relationships according to their own political and economic interests. Neither side knew how these connections would evolve over the following centuries. European forts under construction. On this coast, increasing ship traffic, expanding marketplaces. As European demand grew, coastal trade expanded. Trading posts and fortified settlements appeared along parts of the coast. Competition among European powers increased, while existing African political rivalries and alliances also influenced patterns of trade. Economic relationships. It had begun with multiple goods gradually shifted in important ways. Ships anchored offshore worried
Then expressions on the merchants and families as the storm clouds gather.
the Atlantic world was changing rapidly. European colonies in the Americas created a growing demand for labor. Over time, the buying and selling of enslaved people became an increasingly central part of Atlantic commerce. The consequences would be profound for Africa, the Americas, and Europe alike.
A lone ship disappearing over the horizon as waves crash against the African coast. What began as maritime ends now in treaties.
Exploration and trade became one of history's most devastating systems of forced migration. Understanding how that transformation occurred requires looking at the political, economic, and human decisions behind it. That story begins next. Episode 3, The Rise of the Transatlantic Slave Trade. How did the Atlantic slave trade